Set It Off is one of the most important films of the 90s. A movie that hit so hard people are still quoting it almost 30 years later. Today we're breaking down 18 facts that will completely change the way you see this film. The production battles, the casting secrets, the on-set chaos nobody talks about, and stick around for a jaw-dropping bonus at the end that almost nobody knows about. So speed up with me because the list starts now. Number 1. The script was rejected 3 times. Here's something that should have never happened. This film almost didn't exist. Not because the idea was bad, because a studio kept saying no. Set It Off came from writer Takashi Bufford, who had a vision that was radical for 1996. 4 black women, not as sidekicks, not as supporting characters, but as the leads, the ones holding the guns, calling the shots, running the whole operation. New Line Cinema heard the pitch and passed, then passed again. 3 separate times. They turned it down. Their stated reason? They genuinely believed black men, the assumed core audience for urban cinema at the time, wouldn't show up to watch women be the action heroes. That was the actual logic. It's a staggering thing to read now, but that was the mindset in the studio system in the mid-90s. But Bufford kept coming back. Same project, same vision, different pitch. And on the 4th attempt, something finally shifted. New Line said yes, but with conditions. They wanted more backstory. The original script apparently dropped the audience right into the action without much explanation of who these women were or why they'd crossed that line. The studio wanted tragedy, motivation, something to make viewers root for criminals. So Bufford and co-writer Kate Lanier went back to work. They built out each character's wound. Frankie gets fired from her bank job after a robbery she had nothing to do with. The institution she trusted destroys her. Stony watches her brother get gunned down by cops. Tisean's son gets taken by Child Protective Services because she can't afford to survive. Cleo is just done, fed up with a system designed to grind people like her into the ground. None of that backstory was in the first draft. The studio rejection forced those additions. And those additions are the exact reason you care about these women when it all falls apart. The movie made $41 million and became New Line's highest-grossing release of the entire year. All because one writer refused to quit. Number 2, the writer built roles for stars he'd never met now. Here's where it gets interesting, and honestly, a little unhinged in the best possible way. Takashi Bufford didn't just write Set It Off, hoping to cast some great actresses someday. He wrote it for 2 specific people, Jada Pinkett for Stony and Queen Latifah for Cleo. He had their voices in his head, their screen presence, their energy. He shaped every scene, every line of dialogue around what he believed these 2 performers could do. The catch? He had never met either of them, not once. He had no agent relationship, no mutual contact, no way to get the script in front of them. He was writing custom roles for 2 stars he only knew from their work on screen, betting everything on the hope that the material would somehow find its way to the right hands. What makes this story genuinely extraordinary is that it worked exactly as he imagined. Both actresses not only read the script, they connected with their characters immediately. Jada recognized Stony, Latifah saw Cleo, and the chemistry you feel between those 2 on screen, part of that is because the roles were built around them from the very first page, before a single meeting ever took place. Most writers create characters and then let casting directors find whoever fits. Bufford did the opposite and pulled it off. That's a level of artistic conviction that almost never pays off. This time it did. If you are enjoying this, take 2 seconds and leave a like. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. That support really motivates my work and helps a lot with bringing more content. Number 3, Queen Latifah had a family conversation first. In 1996, playing a lesbian character on screen was not a neutral career decision, especially for a rapper trying to cross over into Hollywood. Queen Latifah wanted the role of Cleo badly, but she knew it would follow her. She knew people would talk, and more importantly, she knew it would affect her family. So before she signed anything, she sat down with her younger siblings and had a real, honest conversation. She told them directly, "I'm playing a gay character. Your classmates are probably going to say things they might tease you about." She didn't sugarcoat it. She was preparing them for the reality of what was coming, but she also told them why it mattered to her. She believed she could bring real, positive representation representation to the gay African-American community on screen in a way that hadn't been done before. Not a punchline, not a tragedy, a fully realized human being who happened to be gay. Her siblings listened, they understood, and when the teasing came at school, they handled it because they knew what their sister was trying to do. Cleo became one of the most iconic characters of the 90s. The tough one, the loyal one, the one who goes out on her own terms. Latifah made a deliberate, principled choice, and it gave audiences one of the most memorable performances in the entire film. Number 4, Kimberly Elise was living the story. Set It Off was Kimberly Elise's very first film. No credits, no experience, no agent. She was a theater actress with nothing on her professional resume, walking into an audition for a major studio production. What happened next, by all accounts, left the room stunned. Her audition was so emotionally raw, so completely present that producers didn't need to deliberate. She got the part of Tisean on the spot. But here's what makes it hit so much harder when you know the full story. Elise later admitted she wasn't entirely acting. She said she was probably the only person involved in the film who was actually living the story. Tisean is a young single mother who loses her son to Child Protective Services because she can't afford to keep him safe. Kimberly Elise, at the time of filming, was a young mother herself, broke. Was under enormous pressure, feeling the weight of the same kind of impossible circumstances. That's why Tisean's death scene doesn't just make audiences sad, it destroys them every time, because the woman playing that character wasn't performing desperation, she understood it. She knew exactly what it felt like to be one bad break away from losing everything. That truth is in every single frame she's in, and no amount of craft alone can replicate it. Number 5, the cast rewrote the script every day, the script that got greenlit. That is not the movie you watched, not even close. Vivica A. Fox said it plainly. They were throwing out pages every single day on set. Entire sections, scenes, lines of dialogue, gone, rewritten, replaced. The original script had the structure, but not the soul. The bones of the story were there, but the dialogue didn't feel like how real friends talk to each other. Director F. Gary Gray recognized that, and instead of forcing his actors to deliver lines that didn't land, he gave them something rare for a studio production: freedom. He told them to create, to improvise, to find the version of the scene that actually felt true. The 4 leads sat together and built conversations from scratch. They figured out their group dynamic, their inside jokes, the specific way each character would react in a given moment. The rooftop scene where they're smoking and just dreaming out loud, that kind of easy, lived-in energy came from the actors, not any page of the original script. Fox described it as taking a small, independent script and loving it into something special. Gray trusted his cast to know their characters better than any writer could from the outside. That trust is what you feel on screen. The chemistry isn't manufactured, it was built through daily collaboration, scene by scene, page by page, that they threw away. Number 6, Cleo's garage was the Ghostbusters firehouse. Here's one almost nobody talks about. When you watch Cleo working on cars and plotting bank jobs in her auto repair shop, you're actually watching a piece of film history, and you'd have no idea unless someone told you. That garage was filmed inside Fire Station 23 in downtown Los Angeles. Built in 1910, decommissioned in 1966, and then repurposed as one of the most used filming locations in Hollywood. It's the exact same building used for the interior headquarters of the Ghostbusters in both the 1984 original and the 1989 sequel. The interior that Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson filmed their iconic scenes in. That's the same floor Queen Latifah is standing on while planning heists. The production team dressed it up as a working auto shop, but the structure, the layout, the bones of the space, all intact from the Ghostbusters days. The building has appeared in over 50 different productions, including The Mask and Police Academy 2. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So the next time you watch Set It Off, just remember, Cleo's garage is hallowed Hollywood ground. 2 completely different genres, 2 completely different decades, same 4 walls. Number 7, DRE made his acting debut in this film. Set It Off holds a specific place in entertainment history that most people never register when they're watching it. There's a scene where Queen Latifah's character goes to buy weapons for the group. The man selling them That's Dr. Dre, playing a character named Black Sam, and it was his very first time acting in a film. By 1996, Dre was already one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop. He'd co-founded NWA, helped define West Coast rap, and was in the middle of launching his own Aftermath entertainment label after leaving Death Row Records. He was a music industry titan stepping onto a film set for the first time. His performance is understated, low-key, natural, the kind of screen presence that doesn't need to announce itself. He fits into the world of the film without a moment of awkwardness. Director F. Gary Gray had deep roots in the hip-hop community, which almost certainly brought Dre into the project. The casting also added a layer of cultural authenticity to the film's portrayal of Los Angeles that no hired character actor could have matched. It's a blink and miss it moment, but it's history. One of the most influential producers in music history, making his acting debut in a film that would itself become a classic. Number 8. Rosie Perez was cast as Frankie First Vivica A. Fox almost didn't make it into this movie. The role of Frankie, the bank teller whose life gets dismantled by a robbery she had no part in, wasn't hers. It belonged to Rosie Perez. The Do the Right Thing and White Men Can't Jump actress was attached to the project before Fox was ever seriously in the picture. Fox knew this. She auditioned anyway, reading for 2 roles, both Tisean and Frankie, just trying to get her foot in the door any way she could. F. Gary Gray saw something in her, but with Perez already committed, he could only offer Fox a conditional promise. If Rosie drops out, the part is yours. That's a brutal position, waiting on someone else's deal to fall apart so you can get your shot. But here's the wild part. While Fox was waiting, she was filming Independence Day on another set. Her co-star was Will Smith, who at the time was dating Jada Pinkett. Will had a personal investment in Set It Off going well, and so he helped. He ran lines with Fox, coached her, helped her find Frankie's edge. Fox joked later that he was probably just trying to earn points with Jada. Whatever the motive, the preparation paid off. Rosie Perez eventually dropped out. The call came. Fox was ready. She became Frankie, and the performance she delivered is part of why this film endures. Before we keep going, subscribe if you haven't yet. Drop a comment telling me which movie or show you want me to cover next with strange behind-the-scenes facts. I read every single one. Number 9. Twin brothers played Tisean's son. Most viewers watch the scenes between Tisean and her young son Juan and feel nothing but heartbreak. What they don't realize is they're actually seeing 2 different people play that one child throughout the film. The character of Juan was portrayed by real-life twins, Vincent Baum and Van Baum, both of whom received official screen credit for the same single role. This twin casting approach is common with infants in film, but it gets trickier as kids get older, and their facial features and mannerisms become distinct. In this case, the brothers pulled it off seamlessly enough that most viewers never notice. The practical reason behind it comes down to child labor laws. California has strict regulations about how many hours minors can work on a film set. By using twins, the production team could essentially double their available time with the character, while keeping both brothers within legal working limits. It's a logistical solution that shows up more often than audiences realize. What makes it particularly poignant is that Juan's relationship with his mother is the emotional engine of Tisean's entire arc. Her fear of losing him is what pushes her to make choices she'd never otherwise consider. 2 brothers built that character together, and most people watching have no idea. Number 10. Gray made the cast live their friendship first. Most directors do table reads, run through the script, talk about motivation, then start shooting. F. Gary Gray took a completely different approach. He told his 4 leads to put the script down entirely, stop rehearsing, go live life together. He gave them homework that had nothing to do with acting. Go to dinner, see a movie, hang out, talk, fight, laugh, build something real with each other before a single camera rolled. This wasn't optional. Gray made it clear this was part of the job. The preparation for playing lifelong friends was to actually become friends. Before production started, Jada, Queen Latifah, Vivica, and Kimberly spent real time together. They figured out their rhythms. Who was funny? Who was the den mother? Who pushed back? Who kept the peace? They built the shorthand that close friends develop over years, and they built it in weeks. Gray explained his reasoning simply. You can feel it when actors are genuinely comfortable with each other, and you especially feel it when they're not. For a movie about women who would literally die for each other, you can't manufacture that bond on set. You have to build it before the cameras ever come out. Watch any scene where the four of them share space together. That ease, that lived-in warmth that came from restaurants and movie theaters, not the rehearsal room. Number 11. The bank sign spells F-dick wrong. Sharp-eyed viewers who pause on the right frame will spot something that somehow made it through pre-production, filming, and post-production without anyone catching it. In the opening bank robbery scene, the one that costs Frankie her job, the teller windows display signs that read FIDC instead of FDIC. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, mixed up, wrong, printed on props, and placed in frame. The irony is hard to overstate. This is a film whose entire plot revolves around banks. Frankie's insider knowledge of banking procedures is a central element of how the women pull off their heists. The production team put real effort into making those robbery sequences look procedurally accurate. And yet the most basic piece of background signage that any American who's ever walked into a bank would immediately recognize got the letters wrong. This kind of error typically gets caught at multiple stages: during set decoration, during filming, during editing. It cleared every checkpoint. The most likely explanation is that everyone on set was so focused on the dramatic action of the scene that nobody was looking at the background. It happens more often than people think, but it's especially funny here given the subject matter. It's now a beloved detail among fans who enjoy hunting for mistakes filmmakers never intended anyone to notice. Number 12. The film's signature song was written for Mick Jagger. The song most people associate with Set It Off almost went to a member of the Rolling Stones. Don't Let Go, recorded by En Vogue, became one of the group's biggest international hits. Number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 1 on the R&B charts. The song that defined the soundtrack, the one everybody still knows, but it wasn't written for En Vogue. Production team Organized Noise originally created it as a crossover track for Mick Jagger, something that blended rock with R&B energy. That collaboration never happened. The song got repurposed. En Vogue recorded it for the Set It Off soundtrack, and it exploded. But here's where it gets interesting. The song's success nearly broke the group apart. Dawn Robinson sang lead on the track. After it hit, she wanted to go solo. Elektra Records pushed En Vogue back into the studio to capitalize on the momentum, but Robinson had already made up her mind. She left. The remaining members had to re-record her parts for the next album. A song written for someone who never recorded it changed everything for everyone who did. That's how music industry chaos actually works. Number 13. Gray hit a Friday Easter egg in the background, Director F. Gary Gray included a hidden visual nod to his previous film that most viewers completely miss on first watch, and even on second watch unless you know to look for it. In the scene where Cleo, Tisean, and Frankie visit the shooting range looking for their boss Luther, two background actors appear wearing clothing identical to the outfits worn by Craig and Smokey in Gray's 1995 directorial debut Friday. It's a deliberate reference, not a coincidence. The costume department had to intentionally source and match those looks. Friday was the film that launched Gray's Hollywood career. Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, two friends killing time on a porch in Compton. It became a cult classic almost immediately. That success was directly responsible for Gray getting hired to direct Set It Off. So embedding a visual callback to Friday in his second feature was his way of acknowledging the film that made this one possible. For viewers who'd seen both films, it's a rewarding little discovery. For everyone else, it's just two guys standing in the background of a scene. That's the best kind of Easter egg, the one that rewards the people who are paying attention. Quick reminder to subscribe if you are enjoying these revelations. And tell me in the comments, do you know any strange fact about this movie that I didn't mention? Let's build the list together. Number 14. The whole film was shot in 39 days. Look at what's on screen in Set It Off. Car chases through Los Angeles, bank heists with full security protocol, shootouts, SWAT teams, helicopters, an explosive climax that feels like a full-scale war. Now consider this. The budget was $9 million. The shooting schedule was 39 days. That's 5.5 weeks. That's it. Most action films of comparable scope take 3 to 4 months. They had just over a month. Every single day had to count. No room for extended reshoots. No luxury of trying a scene 15 different ways. You figure it out, you capture it, you move on. This was only F. Gary Gray's second feature film. His first, Friday, was a contained comedy with almost no action sequences. Now he was directing car chases and gunfights on real Los Angeles streets, with a fraction of the resources a bigger production would have. He shot on location throughout the city. Real banks, real neighborhoods, real streets. No backlot, no controlled sets. The city itself became part of the texture of the film. The compressed timeline created an energy you can feel on screen. Everything has a rawness to it, a sense of urgency that you can't entirely fake. They didn't have time to over-polish anything. They had time to capture, and what they captured became a classic that still holds up nearly 3 decades later. Number 15. Real violence broke out at screenings on opening weekend. The release of Set It Off was shadowed by something genuinely tragic. During the film's opening weekend in November 1996, incidents of real violence broke out at movie theaters across the country. The most serious occurred in Lakewood, California, where a shooting left 3 people injured. The incidents created a media controversy that followed the film into its early run, raising questions the industry had been grappling with throughout the decade. About whether films depicting crime and urban themes somehow attracted or catalyzed violence. Similar incidents had occurred at screenings of New Jack City and Boys N the Hood in the early 90s, creating a pattern that made theater owners and distributors deeply nervous. Reports from the time were clear that the violence had nothing to do with the content of the film itself. The incidents stemmed from conflicts between individuals who happened to be at those theaters. But the timing was brutal. Multiple violent episodes in the same opening weekend created an association that was difficult to shake, regardless of the facts. Despite all of it, Set It Off went on to become a massive success, earning over $41 million worldwide. The story of those 4 women resonated with audiences regardless, and the film's achievement proved that a few terrible events shouldn't define or diminish the cultural importance of the work itself. Number 16. Kimberly Elise was discovered while waitressing before the audition that stopped producers cold, before she became Tisean, before a career that would include Beloved, John Q, and Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Kimberly Elise was waiting tables. Producer Dale Pollock walked into a restaurant and saw her. Something in her presence caught his attention. The way she carried herself, something in her face, some quality he couldn't quantify but couldn't ignore. He told her to audition for a film he was working on. She did. And the rest, as they say, is history. No agent, no connections, no film credits, no carefully curated headshots. A waitress noticed by the right person at the right moment. The discovery is almost too perfect when you know what her character in the film goes through. A woman fighting economic hardship, trying to survive a system that doesn't care whether she makes it. Elise was doing exactly that in real life. And that reality is part of why her performance in Set It Off feels like nothing else in the movie. Hollywood works this way sometimes. Luck meets preparation, and something extraordinary happens in the most ordinary place possible. Number 17. The detective trained with a real LAPD officer. John C. McGinley, who plays Detective Strode, the investigator closing in on the 4 women throughout the film, didn't just learn his lines and show up. He went further than that. Before production began, McGinley worked directly with a retired Los Angeles Police Department detective to make sure his portrayal of law enforcement was as accurate and believable as possible. This level of research preparation mattered because Strode isn't a generic movie villain. He's the other side of the equation in a story that's deliberately constructed to make you question who you're supposed to be rooting for. If the detective doesn't feel real, the tension of the cat and mouse evaporates. McGinley needed him to feel like an actual cop, not a plot device. His LAPD consultant walked him through the actual mechanics of detective work, how robbery investigations get run, how officers read suspects and witnesses, what the procedural reality of a multi-bank robbery case looks like from inside the department. The training helped McGinley understand not just the technical side, but the mindset, the way a veteran detective thinks about a case that's escalating. The result is a performance that adds credibility to the film's portrayal of law enforcement without ever making Strode feel cartoonishly threatened. He's a man doing his job. That's what makes him genuinely dangerous to the women he's chasing. Almost at the end, and the best is still coming. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And drop your city or country in the comments. I want to see how far this video is reaching. Number 18, Queen Latifah brought Cleo back on Mad TV. 1 year after Set It Off became a box office hit. Something unusual happened. Queen Latifah showed up on the sketch comedy show Mad TV, and she brought Cleo with her. A surprise return, reprising her tough-as-nails character in what amounted to an unofficial, comedic sequel to the film. The sketch featured Latifah alongside Mad TV cast member Phil Lamar, playing off the contrast between Cleo's dead serious, don't test me energy and the inherently absurd world of sketch comedy. It worked precisely because Latifah fully committed. She wasn't winking at the camera or doing a parody. She was Cleo. What made the appearance significant beyond the laughs was how rare it actually was. Actors don't typically return to film characters outside of actual sequels, especially not for comedy shows that will completely reframe the original role. It spoke both to how popular Cleo had become and to Latifah's confidence as a performer that she could take that character somewhere completely different and make it land. The sketch also kept Set It Off alive in the cultural conversation during the transition period between theaters and home video. Sometimes the most unexpected appearances are the ones that cement a character's place in pop culture for good. Bonus: why Jada says no sequel without all four. Here's the bonus fact. And this one hits differently when you understand everything it took to make the original. Hollywood has been circling Set It Off for years. Remake talk, reboot rumors. Issa Rae's name got attached at one point. Studios kept floating the idea. Jada Pinkett Smith responded with 2 sentences that shut it down completely. There's no way she does Set It Off without Vivica, Queen Latifah, and Kimberly Elise. All 4, or it doesn't happen. But then she said something that goes even deeper than casting loyalty. She said sometimes you have to let a classic be a classic. Just don't touch it. Vivica A. Fox agreed. She called it a classic and warned that anyone attempting a remake is taking on a nearly impossible burden. The audience will compare every frame to the original, and if it falls short at all, they will destroy it. Think about what that stance actually means. These women didn't just make a movie together. They built the script on the fly. They rewrote it daily. They built genuine friendships before cameras rolled. They poured their actual lives into characters that were shaped around them, and then they watched it become something that people have been quoting and crying over for almost 30 years. The reason there's no sequel isn't a scheduling conflict or a contract dispute. It's because the people who made it understand exactly what they built, and they're not interested in letting someone else take it apart. That's not stubbornness. That's respect for something that actually mattered. And those were 18 strange facts about Set It Off, a movie that almost never existed, built on rejections and rewrites and real friendships, and a writer who refused to take no for an answer. Almost 30 years later, it still holds up, still gets quoted, still makes people cry when Cleo hits that barricade. Some classics are planned. This one was fought for, on screen and off. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe, and comment which fact surprised you the most. And don't forget to suggest another movie that deserves a list of strange facts. See you in the next video.